What's up, everyone? Coach Hood here. I'm the new coach of the Compton Phoenix Paw Patrol. I'm here today to tell you Rocket League is one of the most punishing esports in the world. One single mistake can be the difference between winning and losing a game. In this video, I hope you improve your competitive edge by showing you the do's and don'ts of Rocket League play. For the first thing, let's talk about consistency and experience. For years, Rocket League has operated under the same philosophy that the best team is the one that makes the least mistakes. Developing consistency in your play and style is the hardest thing to do after you mastered, the core mechanics, but it's an absolute must if you're trying to compete at a higher level. For some quick background as who I am, I'm a professional educator and a coach and teacher for student gamers. But most of you know me for teaching game design, AP Computer Science, and Esports for early college. In 2003, one of my goals for the year is also I want to give a list of strategies to up-and-coming gamers ready to compete at a higher level in tournament play. I've researched everyone who is someone in coaching 3 vs 3, from professionals, written guides, or even courses to enroll in. And this is specifically the 3 vs 3. So if you're seriously looking to improve, stay tuned. Cornerstones of play. In order to get a good range of topics covered, I'll be correcting common mistakes from the 5 cornerstones of play: mechanics, positions, rotations, decision making, and boost control. We'll start off with everyone's favorite topic, mechanics. For demonstration purposes, the attacker in every one of these situations has great mechanics and can perform whatever routine is necessary in a situation. But of course, this comes with practice, hours of practice. But just because something is possible doesn't mean that you should do it. So, for example, think back in a situation where you've taken a ball up the wall with full control. One defender is applying pressure and another is capable of shattering the backboard. What do you do? Whatever you do, don't try to score. The main priority is to beat the man pressuring you and try to maintain control as the team. Something can be done through a free pass or in the field, a boost to the opposite side, or attempt to get past or win a 50-50 in the second defender. If you always aim to score from a 1 vs 2 situation without full control, you lose possession more than half of the time against competent defenders. And it's just not worth it in Rocket League. I mean, it's all about playing to the best potential, opportunity. So just think about all the great videos, all the great ideas, things that you've considered because of the greed or for solo play. Improve your mechanics to increase your possibilities, not to constantly try the same routine. Boost control. Okay, so let's move on to boost control. This is possibly the easiest thing to get wrong in competitive 3 vs 3 play because players simply don't know what to do when they're offered the ball. Sometimes it's really easy to drift in an awkward position because of how convenient the big boosts are, and sometimes people just don't know how to use a small boost pass to rotate back and forth. Here are the 2 most important things not to do with your boost is never take your team's back boost from a near post rotation unless you need it to make a backboard play. It will start your team in defense and you'll have exactly the same role rotating through that position as your man at the front post, causing low option coverage as a team and maybe even a double commit in the future. And now for the unspoken rule, never wimp out by taking the opponent's back boost. If you're locked in defense, it might look extremely convenient at the time, but for teammates, it's the worst abandonment of support that you can do. So try to learn the pass of small boosts, pads, and learn how to rotate and support your last man after taking them. When it comes to decision making, there's usually one issue that sparks up more than any other. As a second man pressuring the opponent, you should never die with a challenge if you're not 100% sure unless there's direct support behind you. It's so painful to sit in agony as a last man watching and support you helplessly thrown away to concede from a 2 versus 1. The better idea is a second man is to shadow the opponent's play until you're confident about a challenge, or confident that your last man can follow up after your challenge, especially when entering faster-paced games. Inexperienced competitive players can get drawn into the idea of needing to be fast, but if you're always thinking about how to be fast instead of how to best support your team, you'll be throwing away simple goals from poor, wasted challenges. Don't be afraid to look back at your own replays and analyze how you could do better in your team's defense. Positioning. For positioning, I want you guys to think quickly about the most common mistakes you'll make in your 3 versus 3 games that lead to an open net. Without a doubt, the most common positional mistake in competitive Rocket League. It's basically overextending as a third man, whether you're trying to make that clutch backboard read or trying to block the components of defense and just a little bit longer with high pressure. You're also contributing to this problem. Always consider how safe your defense will be before launching yourself at a ball that you've already been beaten. You better sit a little further back as a caution, as a third man. Just it's better to do that than be a little too forward and then you give up a goal. Rotations. Finally, let's move on to rotations in competitive Rocket League. Rotation is a smart idea if your idea has better potential opportunity and your intentions are obvious to the team. Sadly, 90% of the time, solo queue, that's not always the case. For the sake of convenience, it's extremely common for players to keep challenging and challenging and challenging when locked in the component's corner. Even worse than that, I want you guys to imagine a situation where your teammate is shadowing an opponent who's dribbling out of defense just a little in front of them. Unfortunately, for the second or third man, they have to wait until that guy either stops shadowing or throws in a challenge. And a spoiler alert, they never do. All the pressure is on you and support is lost because 2 players are taking on the same role of shadowing back to the net. So always consider how it's best to support your team and try not to tunnel vision towards your own plays, and keep the rotation clean and the support as quick as you can. Application and practice. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a quick and practical way to implement all of these concepts that I talked about in the video. But when it comes to Rocket League, it's all about recognizing and learning from new situations. The more time you can put in learning about doing something, how most effectively to play in different situations, the better decisions you're going to make. I would advise someone who's struggling to improve to look at their replays before anything else, and just tallying up all your scores, your categories and mistakes. The 5 things that I categories are spoken about today. Look at those. Mechanical boost, control, decision making, positional, your position, and rotation mistakes. Physically write down these mistakes and choose the most common ones and work to improve. And that's a fundamental piece of analysis. So before my coaching sessions on gamers, this is what I do, and from there you guys practice and you perfect an area and then move on to another one. If you try those minor improvements together, you can begin to make a great progress. And so I hope you guys watching, you found this video useful and you learned something. If you have any questions or thoughts, leave them in the comments below. And if you already checked out our YouTube channel, check it out. It's Compton Phoenix Paw Patrol. Be sure to subscribe. We're currently ranked #1 in Rocket League and HSEL Major League and play in the Western region. So follow links below. For more info, you can join our other channels, get more involved in our gaming community. Thank you for watching.